Hello dear friends, hope you all are doing well and studying hard. So today we'll learn a new topic, that is brainstem. So let's start. What is brainstem? Brainstem act as a bridge between cerebral cortex and spinal cord. We have seen in spinal cord chapter that ascending and descending both type of system or tracts are passing through the brainstem. So actually brainstem provides a bridge between cerebral communication between cerebral cortex and a spinal cord. It is also connected with the cerebellum. Cerebellum is actually situated posterior part of the brainstem. So it also provides communication between cerebral cortex and cerebellum. So all of you know the parts of brainstem. Today in my lecture I am going to give you only a introductory portion of brainstem. In my next lecture I will tell you the structure of midbrain, pons and medulla, which are the parts of brainstem. So you know the brainstem consists of mainly three parts. First midbrain, second pons and third medulla oblongata. So brainstem is actually an upward extension of the spinal cord. Okay, spinal cord is extending upwardly and it forms medulla oblongata, pons and a midbrain. Fine. Now all of you know the parts of brain. Brain has three parts: prosencephalon, mesencephalon and rhombencephalon. Prosencephalon is again divided into two, telencephalon and the diencephalon. Telencephalon is actually a cerebral hemisphere, two cerebral hemisphere, and diencephalon consists of thalamus, hypothalamus and the limbic system. Mesencephalon, which is the second part of brain. Mesencephalon is called as midbrain, which is a part of brainstem. And third, rhombencephalon. Rhombencephalon consists of pons, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. So brainstem is actually a combination of mesencephalon and a rhombencephalon, or in other term the brainstem is combination of midbrain and the midbrain, that is the mesencephalon and the pons and medulla oblongata. So the cerebral cortex is called as forebrain, the midbrain is called as midbrain, and the pons, medulla oblongata and the cerebellum is called as hindbrain. So right now we'll see the structure of the different view of brainstem. So brainstem has mainly three views. This is the anterior view of brainstem, this is the lateral view of brainstem, and this is the posterior view of brainstem. Now brainstem, as I said, it is very important because it provides the connection between the cerebral cortex with the spinal cord. So the structure of brainstem is totally based on this system that we'll learn later. Right now I am going to show you the anterior view of brainstem. You can see in this diagram, this is the anterior part of brainstem. When you see the brainstem from the anterior view, so this is called as midbrain, anterior part of midbrain, and the anterior part of midbrain is called as crus cerebri. This is the anterior part of pons and this is the anterior part of medulla oblongata. After it there will be the extension of the spinal cord. So as I said, the anterior part of midbrain is called as crus cerebri. This is the pons and medulla oblongata. Now first we'll learn the you people know the structure, the cross-sectional structure of spinal cord. Spinal cord has two fissure. This is anterior median fissure and this is posterior median sulcus. So this anterior median fissure is extending upwardly. Okay, so basically this blue line is the anterior median fissure, which is the extension of spinal cord. This anterior median fissure extending upwardly and it divides the whole brainstem into two halves, right half and left half, or else I can say due to this anterior median sulcus, anteriorly this brainstem is divided into two parts, the right side and the left side. Now we'll see the anterior structure of the medulla oblongata. So this medial portion, just nearer to the anterior medial fissure. This is called as a medial part of medulla oblongata, and these are called as a lateral part of medulla oblongata. So this medial part, right and left side, this whole part is called as pyramidal region of medulla oblongata. Why? Because you know the corticospinal tract. Corticospinal tract is decussate at this level. That is why this region is called as a pyramidal region. Just beside the pyramidal region, these are called as olivary region. Just beside the pyramidal or just lateral to pyramidal region is called as an olivary region. There are mainly two sulcus, this red one and this black one. So the red sulcus is called as anterolateral sulcus. This sulcus, this red one is called as ventrolateral sulcus, and this black one is called as posterolateral sulcus. So this is all about the anterior part of medulla oblongata. Again, the medulla, this brainstem is divided into two halves with the help of anterior median fissure, right half and the left half. The nearer portion or the medial portion of medulla oblongata is called as pyramidal region. Lateral to pyramidal region is olivary nucleus. Okay, there are mainly two sulcus. This red one is ventrolateral sulcus and this black one is posterolateral sulcus. Okay, this is midbrain. The anterior portion of midbrain is called as crus cerebri. This is the anterior portion of pons, and this is the anterior portion of medulla oblongata. Now, as I said, the cerebellum, both the side of cerebellar hemisphere are attached with the brainstem. So, and this brainstem provides a bridge between the cerebral cortex and cerebellum, or between the spinal cord and the cerebellum. You know, few ascending tracts are going to the brainstem, going to the cerebellum through the brainstem. Okay, so it gives some pathway, it provides some gate. So there are mainly three types of gate. Because of this gate, the tracts can pass from the midbrain to the cerebellum. So there are mainly, these gate are called as peduncle, cerebellar peduncle. So mainly there are three types of cerebellar peduncle: superior cerebellar peduncle, middle cerebellar peduncle, and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So superior cerebellar peduncle is situated in midbrain. Okay, this is the functional diagram. Okay, the cerebellar peduncles are not looking like this, but because of your understanding purpose, I have drawn like this. So this is the superior cerebellar peduncle, which is attached with the midbrain. This is the middle cerebellar peduncle, which is situated in pons, and this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, which is situated in medulla oblongata. So by this peduncle, the all ascending tracts can pass from brainstem to the cerebellum. I hope you have understood the basic idea about the anterior view of brainstem. Clear with this? Now we'll see the lateral view. You can, when you see the brainstem from the laterally, it looks like this. Okay, so this is the midbrain. Okay, midbrain, this portion is pons and this portion is called as medulla oblongata, and this is the spinal cord. Okay, now this is the medial part of midbrain, medulla oblongata. We have seen the medially pyramidal region is situated. So this is medial part of medulla oblongata, pyramidal region, and this is the lateral portion of medulla oblongata, because we are looking this structure from the laterally. So this is the olivary part. These are three peduncles: superior peduncle, middle peduncle, and the inferior peduncle. Above midbrain, there are thalamus and hypothalamus situated. Okay, and above hypothalamus and thalamus, cerebral hemisphere are situated. So this is all about the lateral view. Now, why it is important to know the views of brainstem? Because there are mainly the importance of brainstem is it gives origin to all the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. You know there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So in that from third cranial nerve to 12th cranial nerve. They are originated from the brainstem. Okay, so to understand the origin of cranial nerve, you should know the structure of brainstem. Without knowing the structure, you cannot understand the origin or origin of cranial nerve or the situation of nuclei of cranial nerve. Okay, now we'll see the posterior structure. You can compare. There is a vast difference between the anterior view of brainstem and the posterior view of brainstem. Why is it like that? Okay, so first we'll understand the structure of spinal cord. All of you know the cross sectional of spinal cord. Okay, now the inner portion of spinal cord is grey matter and outer portion of spinal cord is white matter. Listen me carefully, it is very important point. Okay, and this middle portion is spinal canal. This is spinal canal. Okay, all of you know in anterior portion there are motor neuron and in posterior portion there are sensory neuron. Clear? Now as I said, this spinal cord is the upward extension. Okay, this brings and form this spinal cord extend upwardly and it form the brainstem. Okay, so when this spinal cord going upwardly, extending upwardly, at the midpoint of medulla oblongata, this spinal canal opens up. Okay, it will become wide. And suppose when I try to open this, spinal canal like this, okay, suppose this is the spinal canal, and when I try to open it, it will look like this. The opening portion will look like this. So can you see, this is the extension. Here the whole spinal canal is situated. It is extending upwardly. At this point, the spinal canal opens up. It will become wide and it forms this type of structure. So this opening part, this widened part is called as floor of the fourth ventricle. Clear with this? I am again going to repeat. When this spinal canal extending upwardly from the posterior part of medulla oblongata, this spinal canal will open up. It becomes wide and it forms this like of structure. So this type of structure is called as floor of fourth ventricle. You know the function of fourth ventricle. It is responsible for the circulation of CSF. Right now we are not going to discuss in detail about the ventricle, but it forms the floor of fourth ventricle. That is why the anterior view of medulla oblongata and the posterior view of medulla oblongata are different. Okay, it provides this type of shape. So this is the posterior view of brainstem, in which you can see this is the floor of fourth ventricle. The second difference between the anterior view of medulla oblongata and the posterior view of medulla oblongata is, in anterior view there are two regions, pyramidal and the olivary region. Whereas in posterior view there are two tubercle. Can you say this medial portion? So this medial side of portion is, or a tubercle is called as gracilis tuberculi, and lateral to this is called as cuneatus tubercle. The medial one tubercle is called as gracilis tubercle and the lateral one tubercle is called as cuneatus tubercle. You know the function of this tubercle. The dorsal column tract terminate. The dorsal column tract, that is fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. This both tract terminate at this tubercle. So this is the basic difference between the anterior view of medulla oblongata and the posterior view of medulla oblongata. Now we'll see the pons. Pons, this whole structure is fourth ventricle. Okay, so posterior part of pons consists of the upper part of the fourth ventricle, and the lower part of ventricle, fourth ventricle, is situated in medulla oblongata. And this is midbrain. This is the posterior part of midbrain. We have seen in anterior part of midbrain, okay, it is called as crus cerebri. And the posterior part consists of two pairs of colliculus. superior colliculus and the inferior colliculus. Right now you just remember the name of it. We'll discuss this structure in detail in my next lecture. Okay, so this is the whole structure of brainstem. The posterior part of midbrain has two colliculi. This upper one is superior collicular, these are inferior collicular. These are crus cerebri, which are situated anterolaterally. Okay, this is the fourth ventricle. Upper part of fourth ventricle is situated in the posterior part of pons, and the lower part, that is called as floor of fourth ventricle, which is situated in the medulla oblongata. This is called as posterior medium sulcus, which is the extension of the spinal cord. This medial part, tubercle, is called as gracilis tubercle, and this lateral is called as cuneatus tubercle. Okay, you know how this floor of fourth ventricle is developed. It is developed from the spinal canal, because spinal canal opens up. So this is all about the anterior, lateral and the posterior view of brainstem. Now we'll see the important point of brainstem, the origin of all the cranial nerve. Now we'll see the one of the system of brainstem. As you know, there are many systems going through the brainstem, and it connects the spinal cord with cerebral cortex, or it connects the cerebellum with the cerebral cortex. So first we'll see the system situated in brainstem. Mainly there are four systems: the ascending system, or you can say upgoing system. So ascending system consists of all the ascending tracts which are going through the brainstem. Second is descending system, which is, or you can also call it as downgoing system. And they are all the descending tracts which are also going through the brainstem. Third is cerebellar system, as the cerebellum is posteriorly attached with the brainstem, and you know there are peduncle, middle cerebral peduncle, superior cerebellar peduncle and the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So through this peduncle, the brainstem is connected posterolaterally with the cerebellum. Okay, so that is cerebellar system. And the last one is cranial nerve system, as in the anterolateral part of the brainstem. Okay, if you see the anterolateral part of the brainstem, it gives origin to the all cranial nerve. So now we'll see the cranial nerve system. For that you should know the all the 4 types of, or the 12 types of cranial nerves. There are mainly 12 pairs of cranial nerve. First is olfactory, second is optic, third is oculomotor, fourth is trochlear, fifth is trigeminal, sixth is abducent, seventh is facial nerve, 8th is vestibulocochlear, 9th glossopharyngeal, 10th vagus, 11th spinal accessory and 12th hypoglossal. So among all this nerve, from 3rd cranial nerve to 12th cranial nerve, this cranial nerve are originated from brain stem. So now we'll see the origin of each and every cranial nerve from 3rd cranial nerve to 12th cranial nerve. Why it is important to know the origin of cranial nerve? Because the damage to, you should know which symptom patient will get if there is any damage to any part of brainstem. Okay, so now we'll see the origin of 3rd and 4th cranial nerve. So these are the anterior view of brainstem, and this is the lateral view of brainstem. This is midbrain, this is pons, this is medulla oblongata, and this line is called as pontomedullary junction. This red line is called as pontomedullary junction. This is olivary part, this is pyramidal part, and this is olivary part. Again, this is the medial part of medulla oblongata, pyramidal part, and this is olivary part, and this all are the peduncle. So first we'll see the origin of 3rd cranial nerve, that is oculomotor nerve. So oculomotor nerve, first I would like to show you in lateral view and then in the anterior view. So oculomotor nerve is originated from the midbrain. This is posterior part of midbrain, superior and the inferior colliculi. So 3rd cranial nerve is originated here. 3rd cranial nerve in midbrain. Fine. If I want to show you in anterior view, The nuclei are third cranial nerve situated here, and it is originated like this. So this is third cranial nerve. Clear? Now second, fourth cranial nerve. Fourth cranial nerve is also originated from the midbrain. Now, as I said, from third cranial nerve to 12th cranial nerve, they are originated from the brainstem. They all are originated from the anterolateral part of the brainstem except one cranial nerve, that is fourth cranial nerve. Fourth cranial nerve is the only nerve which is not originated from the anterior lateral part. It is originated from the posterior part, and it comes at the level of anterior part of brainstem. Again, this third, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, these all cranial are originated from the anterior part of brainstem. But the fourth cranial nerve is originated from the posterior part of brainstem, and it is coming anteriorly. So please remember this difference. So we'll see the origin of fourth cranial nerve. As it is originated from the middle part of brainstem, then it will go posteriorly and then it come back anteriorly. Okay, so this is fourth cranial nerve. Again, it is originated here, it is going posteriorly and coming back to the anteriorly. If we see here, originated here, okay, it is originated from the posterior part and coming to the anteriorly. So this is cranial nerve 4. Okay, so two nerves, third and fourth cranial nerve, they are originated from the midbrain. I hope you clear with the origin of third and fourth cranial nerve. Now we'll see the fifth cranial nerve, that is the trigeminal nerve. So fifth cranial nerve is originated from the middle portion of pons. Can you see this is pons? Okay, so first I would like to show you in a lateral view. This is fifth cranial nerve, which is exclusively originated from the pons. We'll see here. Fine. So this is the origin of fifth nerve. Now we'll say 6, 7 and 8. Now this 6, 7 and 8, this all three cranial nerves are originated from the pontomedullary junction. So you can see this is the pontomedullary junction. This is pontomedullary junction. So the sixth cranial nerve is originated from the medial part of pontomedullary junction. Okay, seventh cranial nerve is situated lateral to sixth cranial nerve, and eighth is situated most laterally. So now we'll see the origin of sixth cranial nerve. Okay, as this is the pontomedullary junction and this is the medial portion of brainstem in a lateral view. So this is sixth cranial nerve. Okay, as I said, this seventh is situated lateral to sixth. So seventh is originated from here. And in lateral view, this is the most lateral portion. So this is eighth cranial nerve. Fine. So these three cranial nerves are originated from the pontomedullary junction. Middle is sixth, then 7, and most laterally 8. We'll see here. Okay. This is the middle part. Okay. So sixth cranial nerve. Then lateral to 8 here, 7th, and this is the most lateral part. So here 8th cranial nerve. Okay, most medially 6th cranial nerve, then this is 7th cranial nerve, and this one is 8th cranial nerve. This side 6th, this is 8th, and this is 7th cranial nerve. Clear? We have seen third cranial nerve originated from midbrain, fourth originated from midbrain, fifth originated from the pons, 6th, 7th and 8th they are originated from pontomedullary junction. Now we'll see 9th, 10th and 11th and 12th cranial nerve. So 9, 10, 11, 12, this all fourth cranial nerve are originated from the medulla oblongata. So we'll see it. Okay, this is the middle part of medulla oblongata and this is the lateral part of medulla oblongata. So 9th, 10th and 11th are originated from the lateral part of medulla oblongata. First I would like to show in the anterior view just to avoid confusion. Okay, so this is the pyramidal part, this is pyramid and this is olivary, this is ventrolateral sulcus and this is the posterolateral sulcus. So 9th, 10th and 11th, these are originated from the laterally. Okay, so 9th cranial nerve. The 9th cranial nerve first is originated from the most lateral part of medulla oblongata. 9th, just below the 9th, 10th cranial nerve is originated. Okay, so here is 10th cranial nerve, and as you know the 11th cranial nerve, that is spinal accessory nerve, it has two part, cranial part and the spinal part. So the cranial part is originated from here. This is 11th cranial nerve, 11th cranial nerve, cranial part. Okay, and the spinal part which supplies the trapezius and sternocleidomastoid, it is coming downwardly and it joined with the cranial part like this. Okay, so this is the spinal part of 11th cranial nerve and this is the cranial part of 11th cranial nerve. So you have seen from the lateral side 9th, 10th and 11th cranial nerve is originated. We'll see in lateral view, this is the most lateral part, this is the most lateral part. So here 9th cranial nerve, below it 10th cranial nerve and 11th cranial nerve, and the last one is hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal nerve is originated from the most middle part of the medulla oblongata. So you know the most middle part is this, you can see here. Okay, so this is the 12th cranial nerve, which is hypoglossal nerve, 12th cranial nerve. Fine, this is medially 12th and this all are laterally. Here we can see this is the pyramidal part, medial part. So 12th cranial nerve. So this is all about the situation. The third cranial is originated in midbrain. The fourth is also originated in midbrain, but it is coming from the posterior part. The fifth cranial nerve is originated from the pons, entry part of the pons. The sixth, 7th and 8th, they are originated from the pontomedullary junction. The 6th is situated more medially, then 7th and the 8th is situated more laterally. The 9th, 10th and 11th, they are originated from the lateral part of the medulla oblongata, and 12th is originated from the middle part of medulla oblongata. Now, if the tumor is in pontomedullary junction, which cranial nerve will be affected? Okay, if the tumor is in pontomedullary junction, which cranial nerves are affected? 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerve. If the tumor is in pons, which cranial nerve is affected? Of course, 5th cranial nerve. If damage is in midbrain, which cranial nerves are affected? 3rd and 4th cranial nerve. So, to understand it, you should know the situation of cranial nerve. Without knowing the situation of cranial nerve, you cannot diagnose your patient properly. So my lecture was about the different view of brainstem and the situation of cranial nerves in brainstem. In my next lecture, I'll cover the development of brainstem and the in detail structure of medulla oblongata, pons and midbrain. So stay tuned for my next video. Hope you understood it. If you have any doubt or a query, you can write in comment section. Happy learning. Thank you so much.